And welcome to Flying Orc and the Wandering Isles. My name is Ken. I'm your dungeon master for this evening, and this time I remembered to unmute myself. We are learning and we are growing. We're going to jump into it in just a moment and introduce the guys. And we'll also go through, and Eos will take her turn at our little adventure from where we picked up last week. But we will talk about that shortly. First, let's introduce the group. How you doing, boys?
Hello.
Oh, good, sir.
Hello.
Hola.
Absolutely fabulous.
For fuck's sake.
Bonjour.
Voila.
Let's go through. Let's introduce ourselves. Let's talk about who we are as people, who our characters are, and where the fuck these people can find you. God damn. Brian, my friend, give yourself a little intro.
Okay, I'm Ryan, aka Deranged Rhino, as most of you probably know by now. When I'm not here, I'm over on the Emerald Collective, also playing some more D&D and some other different TTRPGs. And I'm also mostly on my own stream, which is twitch.tv/Deranged Rhino. RHYNO. I have to keep telling people that because they're like,
under your name with this nice new overlay, because I forgot to use the last one.
There you go. No, it's lovely. Playing all different kinds of games. More recently, it's been Rust. Had some good fun with that and stuff. And yeah, if you come and say hello and stuff, you usually hear the boys in the background giving me crap about setting up a server.
You deserve it.
I do.
Hashtag Deranged Rhino Rust server.
Yeah.
Ian, how about you, my friend?
Damas y caballeros, y aquellas personas de otros géneros o sin género.
Our social manager, and he was like, oh, we have to really crack that Spanish market. There we go, buddy. There we go. Consider it cracked.
Buenas noches y bienvenidos a las Islas Errantes. Mi nombre es Kian, y esta noche interpreto al picaro encantador Dash Heidman.
All right, man.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kian.
Okay, I was about to say.
What a fucking show off, like.
Oh, come on, man.
Slight flex, yeah, I speak Spanish.
All right.
Hello, I'm Kian. I will be playing Dash this evening. Look forward to adventuring with
No,
you all.
that was your intro. You're done.
No,
Right,
I'm doing. I gotta plug my TikTok. God damn it.
Go ahead.
My TikTok, which I'm hoping will show up in the chat there somewhere. So,
That'd be a good idea.
sorry, I threw myself off with that. I haven't actually spoken Spanish in so long. I was rehearsing that like all afternoon to make sure I got it right.
Is that why you said we have to crack the Spanish market?
Yeah.
Your TikTok is indeed in chat, and for those watching on YouTube, it is below in the section with the stuff. Rory, my friend. First up today. Hope you're ready.
Konnichiwa. Watashi no name wa Roroi desu. You can find me at Rory_Guy for Star Citizen streams and nothing else. I play the character called Eos, and this evening I'll be first up on the trial. Arigatsumasu.
Topsy in chat was like, bro took the comprehend languages spell. Oh shit. Izzy, my friend.
Oh, ça va. I will not talk French because I don't want confuse the viewers. Welcome to the show. Hope you're all feeling great. I'm playing the Atsu today, and I hope we're having a good time.
Well, hot dab. Oh, Richard, my friend, what language are you whipping out? Just English, please?
Yeah, I'm just going to stick with English, yeah. I'm Richard. I'm going to be playing Slate. That's it. Keep it short and sweet.
Oh, hell yeah. Nice. People can't find you anywhere, in-game or out.
I was really hoping Richard was going to come in with like Irish or something. Like, that would have been amazing.
No.
Oh, crazy. John, my friend.
I mean, I could do it in like 15 different languages.
Go.
Yeah, 15 all at once. How good is my Esperanto? I can't remember my Esperanto anymore. We'll do very formal Japanese. Hajime mashite. Watashi ni no wa John tomoshimasu. Dozo yoroshiku onegaishimasu. And then yeah, that's it.
Nice.
The end.
Amazing.
The end.
Then in that case, I mean, the people in chat have already seen it. It's still popping off in there, but let's jump to our social manager for some awesome updates on our social media.
Yes, absolutely. So, as always, you can find our socials popping up in chat there. We're active on TikTok, Twitter, X, whatever you're calling it, Instagram. We are also on Blue Sky, and most importantly of all, I think, Discord. We have a fantastic community on Discord. Lots of chats going on, lots of games happening, lots of fuckery and memes, which we love. So come along and join us. That link will throw up in the chat as well. And while we were offline, we smashed our 70 follower goal. We're now 71 followers, which is amazing. So thank you very much to everyone who has followed us along. We very, very much appreciate it. Awesome. We also have our Patreon, and there's a huge update coming soon, which Ryan will mention shortly.
A little bit of. He'll mention a little bit of. There's a big update. He's got a little piece of that update.
Yes. And we also have coming soon, but first released to our Patreon subscribers, some individual character videos with some fantastic music from our resident music producer, Mr. Biz. We were listening to it like all week. I got dashes like over the weekend, was it, or Monday I think it was. I've listened to it like 20 times.
I dusted off my guitar for Slates. I was like,
oh, it's incredible. Like, genuinely cannot stop listening to it. The talent on show is just incredible. So thank you again, Biz. That's fantastic.
Also, if you enjoyed our introduction video by Mr. Rory, of course, you're really gonna like these, because this is the next project that he's been working on. I've been hinting at it for like 2 weeks now.
Yes, I cannot wait to see them. As well as that, on our website, flyingorc.com, we also publish D&D news on the website now.
Ooh.
And yeah, to cover the I suppose the big announcement of the day in relation to our Twitch in particular, and perhaps the YouTube, I'll throw back to our resident iPapi Daddy DM, Mr. Ken.
So, we owe you all a massive thank you. Huge thank you. Don't know. I've tried to write 1,000 scripts, but it would have taken me 2 years to get through it all to say thank you so much. But we hit affiliate on Twitch in less than 3 weeks of streaming. We got it through. We got it processed. It's all done. This on our 4th week, we're already affiliate, and you guys are already going crazy. We've a hype train just absolutely pumping. Thank you so much. This is crazy. Like, we had a goal for basically a year of streaming that we had set out. I had set it out of like, this is what I would like to achieve within a year of being on this stream, and we have accomplished all of it within the 4 weeks. So I need to sit down and reevaluate what our goals are, because this is crazy. Y'all popped off. Speaking of goals, I think we actually hit the sub goal right off the bat. What? Wait, what? Our sub goal was 10. We're at 11. You guys are crazy. That is absolutely insane. Wow, thank you. That's mental. That is wild. That's actually wild. Thank you guys so much. Crazy. In almost the same span of a week, it happened just last week. We actually hit the same target, but on YouTube, which is incredible as well. So we actually have the ability to sub on both if you want to show your support. It's never obligated. You guys can stay in chat, lurk, just hang out, everything. We love you anyway. It's never mandatory, not once. We appreciate everything you guys do. For all of us, this is amazing. I have absolutely no idea where to go from here, so we'll have to sit down and have a chat about our next goals, because this really just blew us out of the water. We already have sub emotes, little sub emotes, little goblins that I'll hopefully remember to include in the video, but if not, they are there in chat and stuff like that as well. And they evolve. Ooh, Boblin the Goblin growing up. Crazy. I'm gonna cut to our production manager, Ryan, to talk about a little bit of the stuff coming up this week on Flying Orc.
Yeah, so before I get on to that, I just want to say as well, a massive congrats to Roper, to everyone else here. What an incredible thing to be able to achieve in under a month. Like, fair play, well done. And it's because of you guys watching. So again, from me as well, thank you very much for that, because it's been epic to see how much you supported this. So thank you. As far as what's going to be coming forward from now, obviously, you're going to get to spend this glorious evening with us, exploring some trials and tribulations of our party here, and watch how some of them die. I mean, get hurt. I mean, maybe not complete their task, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But coming up tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. GMT, so that's GMT +1 for our friends across the water and stuff. we will be back again with metagaming. I will be bringing back another episode of that where I will be introducing and interviewing the incredible, the beautiful John. And I'm looking forward to diving in what it means to be John, to what he's experienced within the TTRPG scene, which is a massive amount, which I'm looking forward to digging into a bit more, and hopefully weaseling out a few bits of info about Wes, because we don't really know too much right now. So make sure you come and check us out tomorrow, 7 o'clock for that. It's going to be pretty good, and yeah, we'll see what we can do with that. Then on Friday at 5 p.m. GMT is Zero to Hero, hosted by our very own Daddy DM Ken, as he does a general discussion and tutorials sessions, and try to help you set up your games, maybe in the style that we've done it, but also helping you to set it up in the way that you want to be able to do it. This week he's going to be building a map over on Dungeon Alchemist, and this map, as we just said about the Patreon, will be going up onto the Patreon for free when it's finished. So if you want to get your hands on this map, one, head over to the Patreon, sign up there so that you can make sure and get this map. And two, what you should also do is come over to the Discord or come into the chat on Friday when he's making the map and tell him some things you might like to see on the map, because he might be able to add the things that you particularly want. Wouldn't it be cool to have a map just designed with the stuff in it that you would like? So make sure you come and do that.
On it.
A tar pit? Yeah, we can put a tar pit in there and have a little person in there called Tiago. I think that would work out pretty well. We call it Tiago's pit because, you know, he was the pits.
He is the pits.
Yeah, exactly. So make sure you do that. Come along, give him some support with that as well, as we all do as well. And hopefully we can get a map made that we've all put some effort into, which would be pretty cool. And that's it from me. I'll hand you back to Daddy DM.
It's like, be the person you want to be, but be the map you want to see. Can we? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Can we just do that? Nice.
Just map it.
Just map it. I'm gonna show. Yeah, I'll show off a little bit of Dungeon Alchemist, and if people are in chat and they want to see some specific stuff, absolutely, I'll add it in, and we'll have a nice little vibe. It's just a chit chat and a make a map chit chat or something. Perfect. Before I ramble on too much, we will kick into the session. We're going to show off the intro video first, and then we'll come back and we'll get a little bit of a recap from our busy boy, and then we're right in with Mr. Rory Kai over here and Eos to see how she does on her exams. But first, our intro video, and of course, if you want to see the longer version that we had, you are more than welcome to go to our YouTube anytime. It sits there waiting for you, so please feel free. Enjoy. Hey, I love that video. I never get sick of that video. I never get sick of any of these videos. These are amazing. Welcome back. We're going to kick in with Mr. Busy Bee and have a look and see what is it we did last week.
Previously, on the Wandering Isles, our 6 new students had several things to reveal. Dash had an appointment with Remington Maleficum about his status at the Arcanum. Confronted with the fact that he stole the invitation letter, Eos wasn't pleased with his potential activities that Dash might follow secretly. Meanwhile, Hatsu followed his gut feeling to make sure his weapons are in good condition and hand. Meeting up with a striking figure creature with blue skin and an ethereal presence, revealing a secret passage through the wall where all weapons were kept safe. Meeting back in the students' dorm room, Weston showed signs of exhaustion, with his energy waning as the day progresses. Surprisingly, after morning routine the next day, they were pulled into a surreal space where they must navigate their own minds while performing feats of skill and strength. Each member faces a unique test designed to challenge their abilities and character. Starting off with Amy and Dash, they both had a remarkable task to fulfill. Amy's test involved a stealthy heist from her own home. Demonstrating astonishing agility and silence, she moved gracefully from pillar to pillar, successfully completing her mission. Dash's test required him to collaborate with Lisa to obtain a gemstone, showcasing his cunning and teamwork. Will DM's darling have to do his tests alone in the future? Find out in our next episodes.
Crazy.
That was top tier. That was amazing.
What do you mean DM's darling?
Oh, all right.
Yeah, he's got a point.
I don't know how to even process that.
Dash effectively used the environment to his advantage.
Environment, the DM.
Look, I'm not to say, you know.
I wouldn't consider other people as environment, but whatever.
Absolutely. Environment, collateral, you know, whatever.
Well, just as a reminder, I'm open to bribes. All right, let's kick into it. Mr. Rory,
Yes.
you've had to wait a week for this moment, and I want you to know I made it much more difficult in that time.
I had a feeling, yeah.
Oh no, you have the same test you did last week. I'm far too lazy to try and write that again.
Are you?
The walls go up, Rory. The walls go up. And as they do, you're confronted with a small piece of paper, like everyone else.
Mhm.
Do you care to open it?
Take a moment to look around. The walls going up around me. Any form of escape or whatever is now closed. Yeah, I'm gonna walk up to the piece of paper and take a look.
As you open the piece of paper, it simply just says, "Solve the puzzle." And the room goes dark. The piece of paper disappears. As a new environment begins to form itself, it is something similar to where you were already. But instead of four walls, you're facing a labyrinth made of the same material.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
Labyrinth, same material. Okay, so directly in front of me, is it just like one single path, or is it fork out?
Yeah, at the moment it's one single path, but up ahead you can see it as sort of T-junction.
Okay. Slowly walk up
Mhm.
and take a look left and take a look right.
Mhm.
Gonna head right.
And as you do, you begin to walk down this sort of what seems like a long path, but it doesn't take you too long to cross it, almost like you're walking through a dream.
Mm-hmm.
As you approach the end, there is a turn left, and that is simply it.
Okay, so it just heads left and blank.
As you turn left and you keep walking,
Yeah.
you're starting to get this feeling that part of your challenge is in finding your way out, but it's not going to happen with random happenstance. It's just,
Yeah.
there's something that you're not figuring out here that you need to establish. As you turn left again and again, and suddenly you're turning left again and you're trapped in this square labyrinth.
Okay. I'm gonna have a look at the walls, patterns on the walls or floor, and gonna run an investigation check, I suppose, to see if there's any directions, tiles, any moss, any way of knowing this is fresher than the rest. Like it's been worn.
Make an investigation check for me.
Yeah. is not great.
What did you... Sorry, you got a 10, is it?
Yeah.
10. So, you note that there's not much really to take in from this, but in itself, that is kind of strange. There should be something here, so maybe it's not something you have to see with your eyes, but with a different part of you. One thing does cross your mind. This is a challenge for Eos. Designed for Eos.
Yeah.
So there must be something within your ability to do that would make sense for this challenge.
Okay. Gonna try and see if I can perceive a smell or scent.
Okay. Just make a perception check then.
Yeah.
The 6, not really, no.
Yeah. 10 out of 10. Okay, gonna head back and go back to the T-junction and head left.
You try and go back, but there is no T-junction. You just follow back. You take a right, you take a right, you take a right, you take a right.
Okay. Okay. She's going to take a moment. She's going to stand where she is. Take a deep breath. Look around.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I have to continue this path because there's no discernible way in any other direction. I'm going to head back the way I was originally walking.
Mm-hmm.
And look at the wall specifically. And keep all my senses open, hearing, scent, whatever it is. Just to try and determine what feels right as the way out.
Make a history check for me.
Perfect. Sorry, I am probably being very dense. I've been working all day.
You're not being dense. With an 8, you don't really pick up on something too much, but this test is designed for Eos to use her skill set, something that others can't do, something that shows who she is rather than maybe who a Madriana would be. This might be a test that someone like a Madriana couldn't do, but something like what Eos could.
Okay. That hint may be very obvious to other people.
Okay.
Right. If I touch the wall, what do I feel?
The wall doesn't feel purely smooth. It feels kind of embossed. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's embossed. Would I be able to, rubbing hands along the walls, discern a certain language or writing?
I would say make investigation for me.
Okay. I will use my inspiration this moment.
Well, only if you fail, you need to use it.
Okay. Perfect.
16. So there are etchings on the wall, but they aren't in a language as such. They're more runic than that.
Aha. Okay. Cool. Perfect. Since I would be able to see quite well in the dark, I'm going to try and read the letters on the wall.
Make an Arcana check for me, please.
Yeah, perfect.
With a 5. Not so much, but that isn't unusual, because these seems to be the etchings of specific types of spells. So,
Okay.
you would recognize these from the books in the Undercroft.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, it's more about remembering where they come from, like what the different symbols are.
Okay. This will stand back. Oh, she's actually going to sit down legs crossed for a moment. Just gonna sit there and think what books, tales, or legends she may have read that resemble what she's trying to decipher at the moment.
Make a history check for me then, yeah.
Perfect. I agree, Hardy.
Now might be a good time to use that inspiration.
Yeah. Heart of the cards, come on.
21 is much better.
Yeah.
With... Actually, technically, this shouldn't have been advantage, so it's still 21, though. You're okay. Your first roll was 19. So. What you remember is you read a series of books that talked about the arcane arts, things that other people wouldn't really gain access to because, first of all, this kind of knowledge is extremely rare. Second of all, it's extremely dangerous. If anyone found out that you had these books or access to these books, you would just be gone. So this is not the norm in this world. But there are similarities between those symbols and the ones that are on the wall. And the things you dedicated yourself specifically to. For example, one of the symbols on the wall is the symbol for evocation. Another symbol on the wall is the symbol for transmutation. And you start to understand that there's a pattern to that rather than the other things.
Okay. Evocation, transmutation.
And the last one is necromancy, sorry.
Ooh, interesting choice. Okay. Rightio then. Let's have a quick looky at some information.
Take your time.
I will have to. Okay, fine. That's that one. Okay. Where is the other buddy that we need? Okay. All right. When reading these, does she feel there's a certain pattern she has to follow of these actions?
No, they're just basic symbols for the actual spells. There's no discernible pattern to it as such.
Okay. She's gonna stand up. And she looks very hesitant about doing what she's about to try and do. Okay. But knowing that no other people apart from those above are watching, she feels somewhat safe about it. First off, the letter T. Look what she can do with that one. She looks down, looks towards the wall, and suddenly just hear a roar of thunder. It's going to be followed by her left arm, and she looks down at it. Some slight pain in her eyes. She summons something from her left arm.
Nice.
And she prepares an action. Just bring it up here now. She's going to look at that wall. It's the most fearsome, like just vile grin. She's going to try and do something to that wall.
Okay. So, as you cast each of these spells and begin to focus your mind and concentrate on what you're doing, first of all, you make the sound of thunder and the whole labyrinth begins to vibrate. It doesn't just echo with you, it goes much further than this usually goes and echoes through the walls all the way around the corners. After that, you summon this purple flame blade right across your rapier. And with that, you just simply cross out the symbol on the wall. I just assaulted my microphone. That's how good the spell is. And when you do that, the markings begin to fade on each of the ones. And then finally, you send this rippling effect, one that would cause fear in the enemies that you have faced. And upon doing that, the symbol on the wall gets scratched off as well. All three symbols disappear and open a room before you, one that is darker than even your eyes can pierce. Will you step in?
Oh yeah, he's ready.
It's a mud pit. You step in and you move in, and the walls behind you close, and you're in pitch black darkness. The squelch of mud beneath you, and you feel it rising on your body.
Okay.
Ducky's not in here. No Arthax
Thank you.
today.
Yeah. God damn it. Okay. How high up her is this mud at the moment?
It's approaching your knees.
Okay. Interesting. Slowly, she's going to try and walk her way across this mud pit.
As you do, you go further and further into this darkness, but you don't know where you're moving. You don't know where you're reaching. You're just surrounded by night.
Well, there is some comfort in that. Solitude is some people's greatest blessing. Okay. Is there anything that she can... Oh, let's just roll perception, I take it, to see if there's any light further down the way.
There's no perception needed for this. There is absolutely no light visible to you whatsoever. There is nothing. That's as if you're blind. This room is darker than you have ever experienced anything beyond having your eyes closed. And even then, there are traces of light that come through. This is black.
Well, if it's mud, really keep on trucking.
Perfect. You keep wading through it. You keep going further and further down. You feel like your body is engulfing in the night that your eyes are currently experiencing, but you still just keep moving and moving and moving. You have no idea where you are, how far you are. You can't see a thing.
Okay. Right. And it's mud. Okay. If she touches the texture, does it feel like standard earth mud, or is there any kind of special characteristic to it?
Just wet mud. Like there's no like recognizable texture to it, but also not a recognizable texture. I don't know how to phrase that, but like it just feels like mud. There's nothing. It doesn't feel like you're gonna turn on the lights and suddenly it's just like blood and you're like in a horror movie. It's not like that. You are. It is for all intents and purposes mud.
Interesting choice. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna try and create some light in here.
Okay.
Because her hands are free, from what I understand.
Yeah.
About 55 feet in a straight direction. She's just gonna create a bonfire.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Go, do thing. Yep.
The bonfire ignites and you find yourself sitting on the floor of the square room that you were in when you started this challenge, and the walls begin to descend. You've completed your challenge. Well done.
Whoa.
Well done. Nice easy. Nice easy. Nothing too stressful. Just it's about you figuring out your sheet and yourself and, you know, establishing these normal things. And Eos did it. Took a minute to get there. She took a minute to find her bearings, to figure out where she is and what's going on. She's never experienced anything like this before. But she still made it. Now,
is she muddy?
No, she's not muddy at all. But not another, you know, like 60 seconds or something, and you may have failed. But you did good. It's like a B-, right?
Yeah, we'll take it.
Absolutely.
C's get degrees.
C's get degrees. That's it.
Wow.
As we are going alphabetically by surname, just to throw things in the mud, so to speak. Westlin, you're up next, my friend.
Sweet. I totally studied for this test. I know what I'm doing. 100%.
Absolutely.
Great study of things. Test-like.
Yours is a little bit different. Not that you would know. When you sit in the room, the walls go up. How would that feel for Westlin, just to suddenly be encased in a room as such?
I think there's a moment of surprise, but it's followed by a strong display of relief. And he takes a sit on the floor and relaxes a little bit.
How is he sitting?
Oh, definitely not in a formal sense. Like kind of like that lean back, you know, where you're like on your, you know, you're on your butt, your legs are out, you know, you're back on an elbow or both elbows.
Kind of just
something you would do like on a
summer day in the grass.
On the lawn.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just waiting, you know, like this is what he has been waiting for, he thinks. Maybe it's just a little late.
Yeah. When you lean back, you do feel the grass beneath your arms, your elbows, and you look down and there is grass beneath you, and then when you look up again, you are amidst a forest, one you have seen many times in your life, for a long time. You're home, you know?
Am I on the edge of the forest? Is there, you know, the hills? Are there sheep?
Yeah, something like that. You're on the edge of the forest, but no hills, no sheep. Just a very familiar sky, a lot of color. This is somewhere near where you met Chicken for the first time.
I look back into the woods. And I walk away from them with a little briskness. Out into the open.
As you walk further into the open, it feels like you're not getting that much further from the forest. It's a strange feeling, but no more different than any of the other dreams that Westland has experienced in life. I'll get you to make a nature check for me if you don't mind.
I can do that.
Thank you.
I can do that. If this been open, come on. Do it.
Do it now.
What? That print.
I heard the roll, but I don't see the roll.
It did not print?
Strange. I heard it.
Yeah, I'm going through the thing now. It's not. Let's try that again, shall we? While he's trying to focus on this
Sure.
check, relief kind of shifts to just a little bit of frustration as he's looking out of the hills, out at the fields, the sky. That's not rolling.
I'll take a look at that with you in a second.
Yeah, I'll go through.
If you want to use the other link, yeah.
Let me try D&D Beyond. Let's see if that'll.
That one came up for me. It was a 6 and a 20.
You can see it. I don't see it.
6.
6 and a 20, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, will it be the 6? Be the first one that rolled.
Okay. Right. So. Okay, 6. For some reason, this doesn't feel like the nature you have felt before. There's an unfamiliarity with the way things feel. You know what grass feels like. This feels similar, but not the same. You know what the wind feels like. This feels similar, but not the same. In all the dreams you've had, this might be one of the weirder ones in terms of how it feels for you. Yeah.
I look at my hands, my arms, feet. Am I still wearing the same clothing? Am I still marked?
You're wearing the same clothing, you're not marked.
Just lift my shirt, take a look at my stomach, feel for scars.
Feels fine. You're smooth, clean.
can't leave.
Doesn't look like it.
Look back to the forest very slowly. Are any birds singing?
No birds.
Is there any sound of life at all?
No sound of life, except for every so often the sound of sticks being sort of crunched, if that makes sense, by something large.
I'll fully turn to face the forest.
Mm-hmm.
And wait for whatever's coming to emerge.
For a moment, there's almost a sense that the trees are alive, that they're moving, that they exist, that they breathe like Westland does. As something large approaches more and more, and then stops. You feel something against your leg, and it's Chicken, who's present beside you, watching the woods. Sort of as a dog would in a protective state, almost standing in front of you and at your side, kind of trying to keep you between you and it, if that makes sense.
In my native tongue, Chicken, this is not the first time. This will not be the last time. Every dream is a test. Just wish it didn't fucking hurt every time.
Chicken stays against you. There's a warmth against your leg. Chicken feels real. Chicken feels normal. Within the woods, there's a darkness that approaches the various trees, which is unusual. Westland looks and sees between the branches, between the sticks, between the actual trunks of these trees, there's a large presence, something different.
Wesson begins walking towards the forest.
When you approach the border of the forest, this is the deepest point, the line of respect for you that you have clearly drawn. Westland hears something in the back of his mind.
I hear you call to me. Who are you?
I am Wesland Theywise. You know who I am. We have done this many times. The fuck do you want?
There's something curious about you. Something different. I feel something old and familiar, but not old like me. Different. How?
Thought you'd know. You want to come out?
It's not time.
When is it going to be time?
When it's time, you will come to me. I think this school is going to bring something so interesting to you. And that will benefit both of us.
Will it stop?
Eventually.
Will it stop then?
When the time is right. But first, you need some rest.
I don't know how. Doesn't work. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do. I don't sleep. Can't sleep.
Because you're ignoring who you are.
What is that supposed to mean?
There's a moment where, as this voice pulses and probes through your mind, memories start to form for you that were once dreamlike thoughts that were at the tip of your tongue at all times. You hold your hand out, almost autonomously.
Just let it grow.
A small plant begins to emerge straight from your hand itself. It's probably one of the most beautiful plants you've ever seen in your entire life. Something made just for you. By you.
Stare at it. This is another dream.
No, my child. For once you're awake.
How? How do I know that? How do I know you're not lying to me?
You don't. But what purpose do I have to tell a lie?
Well, what purpose do you have to be doing this? What did I do to you?
It's not what you've done. It's what you will do. In time.
I looked at the plant. Is it attached to me?
Yeah, it's like growing from your hand, but it's not made of flesh. It's made of a plant material.
I take a sit on the ground. And push my hand into the dirt to see if I can't detach this thing.
As you push your hand into the dirt, more flowers begin to emerge around you. The one in your hand becomes one with the soil, and several more appear around it.
Will this get me home?
What makes you think you're not home? What is it that you believe home is?
Every dream has been a home in its own way. I'd really like to get back to the sheep. Don't mind.
I can help you with that. And the time is right. But first you need to become more powerful so that we can bring you home.
Do whatever you want me to do.
Good. Then I will return to you when the time is right. But until then, sleep.
And like he does in the common room, he lays down, closes his eyes, tries to sleep. Doesn't sleep.
As you try various different positions, Chicken comes to your aid. And every time you try to lie down, Chicken nudges against you. Almost like he did on the couch.
The chicken?
Chicken sits beside you.
Just sits. Sit up. Lean up against one of the trees at the edge of the forest. Looked at Chicken, looked at that plants. Still myself. Back at Chicken again, just for good measure. Try and give into sleep.
For a split second, there's a feeling that's very familiar to you. Dreams. But this time they are of things that you are not just a part of, more like a memory. You see images from a long time ago, the things of sheep in fields, people who are so excited to see you. Walking through the woods, being close to nature. And just as you're about to see a face that keeps probing at your mind, something that keeps coming back to you, just as that clarity emerges, you open your eyes and you're sitting cross-legged in the room again. You don't know why or how, but you can mark off a long rest.
I look at my hands. Are they marked?
Yeah, you're back to normal. The scars are there if you feel it, the marks are there, and Chicken is curled up in a ball beside you.
Reach up to my face and feel the beard that's formed. and stand as a man in the middle of his autumn years.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very confused.
So is everyone else when the walls come down. Yeah. The only one who doesn't seem particularly confused is Remington. Don't worry, my boy. I'm sure the trials will work for you at some point. He taps your back.
What?
At that point, I'm going to cut to Slate. Slate, my friend. My goodness. I know for a fact there are people excited for this. Because they've been like, what the fuck is Slate? Who is Slate? I got a lot of questions about Slate.
Why is Slate?
And I'm going to say, before we do anything, last session, I was thinking about, blindly what the trial or test might be or what I would do. Sort of like sitting outside an exam hall or before going for an interview when you get those feelings. Yeah. So I jotted down a couple of notes. And I'm going to try and go off the blind plan that I came up with in the moment last week, regardless of what happens. So let's see how it goes. Because that was my instinct in the moment. So I'm going to go with that.
I mean, I'm all for it. I'm excited and I'm curious to see what you got. Let's trust your momentary instincts as the walls come up for Slate.
So the very first thing that comes to mind for Slate is that he's no stranger to tests.
I thought you were about to rickroll me, man.
I wonder about the consequences or maybe the rewards associated with this one, how it might be different to others. And while I'm thinking that, the first thing I'm going to do is strip. I'm taking off all my clothes. That's the first thing I'm doing. And when the cold air starts to hit me, I'm going to start stepping toe to toe, kind of like a boxer, like somebody getting warmed up, get the adrenaline going.
Yeah.
A few slaps on the face, getting yourself, like someone trying to wake up, I suppose. And then kind of whisper to myself, fuck it, it's game time. And then he's going to clutch his arm like he's got a pain in his arm, and it's going to lead him to hunch over like someone getting a heart attack, and a headache is going to come on thick and fast. So his head is absolutely pounding and he's curled over, and then all of a sudden he just goes calm and he stands up. But when he does, he looks at his hands and they're green. All of his skin is green.
A letter appears in front of you. It just simply says, gather information.
Perfect.
It's almost like you were made for this. I had to do it. The green skin, I couldn't avoid it. Ahead of you is 2 large wooden doors. They look ornate, beautiful. This looks like a higher class than you'd be used to, but not one that's impossible for you. Beyond the doors, there's the chattering, voices. It seems to be an event. Something that might be more fitting for Dash than maybe Slate.
Perfect. So clutching the robes in one hand, naked, just gonna walk straight into the room.
Okay. As you walk in, there's a band playing. Of course, there's always a band playing. As the crowd begins to get louder, you open the door and you step inside. You walk forward with the confidence of a man who is probably not naked. And as you do, you step through this crowd, nobody looking or batting an eye at you. You sit down, you lean at the bar. What do you want to do?
So I guess, taking in my surroundings, I'm going to take a moment to see if I recognize anybody in the room.
Yeah. In fact, your whole group is here, spread across the room talking to different people. You see Eos, you see Dash, you see Amadriana, you see Hatsu, you see Westland, all talking to different people that suit or fit their style.
Nice. So what would start to become apparent is when looking around the room, I'm looking at myself, I'm looking around the room, and with the green skin, I've specifically chosen to be kind of bearded with tusks, kind of a buff warrior build with scars and things like that. Someone who looks like he's able to handle himself. Also someone we have met already, the caretaker, Curtin Stewart.
Nice. I was wondering when you actually said your skin was green, I was like, who do we know? That's perfect.
And what I'm going to do is he's known for being impatient from what I've seen of him, so I'm going to start screaming, these bloody kids pushed me in, I managed to grab one of them, and all I have is his fucking robes.
Hell yeah. As you do, people look around and they're all looking at you and they're just like kind of bewildered and stuff. Remington walks up, puts his hand on your back. Well, do you know who it was?
Whoever was wearing this.
Oh, very well. I don't see anybody naked. Looking around. You have free reign of the room.
Guess I will walk up to the nearest member of the party that's having the discussion, as they're the people that I know the most, and I will see what the conversation holds and what's happening as I walk up.
Right, okay. So
I'm still not bothering to get dressed, by the way. I'm just, it is what it is.
To everyone else, you don't look naked, so I don't think it's a problem. As you walk through the room, you take in what different people are talking about. Eos is talking about just some stuff you've heard her mention before, talking about kind of where she comes from more specifically, and talking about Ducky, things you've heard before. And that trend continues. As you get to Dash, he's just talking about things. As you get to Amadriana, she's talking about things. Not too much coming from Amadriana because you haven't heard a lot from her, but the things that you hear are the things they've said. More from people like Dash, who have spoken a lot, than you would get from, say, Westland or Amadriana. A little bit from Hatsu. Mostly him just sneaking up behind Dash and scaring. But this room seems to be almost an impersonation of your life. In the most recent week, anyway.
So it's like a deja vu moment, is that what you mean? Like conversations I've heard, moments. Yeah. So I'd imagine it would be very obvious to me, like you say, that no one is bothered at all by the fact that I am naked or green-skinned or otherwise. Therefore, slightly confused but also contented, I'm going to take a moment and shake it off. The person that I'm standing closer to or looking at is going to be Dash, so what I'm going to do is just take a moment and walk up behind Dash, and while I'm there I'm going to just crack my neck and then start to change full look like Dash.
Look like Dash? Okay. You step forward, and as you do, not only do you start to look like Dash, but you actually take his place. You are now Dash in this room. There is no other Dash in this room. It is you. Lissa is here, and she's like, would you please come on? We have to get the amulet.
I'm going to take a second to kind of clear my throat, and I'm going to say, marvelous idea. Let's get to it.
Good. Excellent. So she rubs her hands together and walks forward. And as she does, she sort of leads you across the room to where there are some people talking. One of them is Samuel Decker, and Ironclad is standing kind of further back. Samuel is sort of talking and discussing things, and you see the amulet around his neck, and for some reason 3 minutes ago you didn't want this, you wouldn't have cared about this. Why the fuck would you? What are you going to do with it? But now there's something about it that you need this in your pocket.
Motion towards him and the amulet, and start making an arc towards it, but not directly at it.
Okay. As you move towards the amulet, you towards the amulet. As you move towards Decker with his amulet, you take in the surroundings, and it feels like there's just something that the more you stay as Dash, the room starts to change to suit that. So it's not so much that the whole group is together anymore. Now you're in an environment that's all him. And Lissa just leans forward and she's like, Mr. Decker, it is a pleasure to meet you. I have been a fan of your work for so long. I come from Palperoth. Obviously, I've heard of you. This is all information that is kind of new to you. Like, you would guess that she's from Palperoth, but you've never heard her say that.
So, while I'm standing listening to this happen and, you know, absorbing the information from the conversation, I try and think, you know, what would Dash do? So then I go for a really awkward handshake. And I say, you know, hi, I'm Dash, and try and take over the conversation.
And you do. You grab his hand and you keep shaking it like Paul Rudd in Civil War.
The power handshake, you know, the hand.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you do, and with that you shake hands with him, and he's like, right, hello.
Say that I'm gonna and then twist his wrist and go, that's a lovely watch, I have one myself, you know, it's fantastic. Where did you buy it?
It was a gift. I got it from some people very important in Palperoth.
That's boring. I'd like to talk about myself. So, I'm also from Palperoth. You might have heard of me. My name's Dash.
No, I can't say that I have.
Then I'm going to say, I come from a family of well-known jewelers, and I couldn't help but notice that lovely amulet you have there. I had to come over and see it. What craftsmanship.
Thank you. Yes, it's actually something that we designed. It's something that we're working on. It's supposed to give you a little bit more, you know, vigor in your step.
I have pills for that. They're in my pocket. Can I show you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not gonna get through this. Holy shit, that's so funny. Oh.
So I'm going to start reaching my pocket and go, I must have misplaced them, but trust me, I have a whole batch. And
I do trust you, absolutely. Let's just behind him, like...
And then I'm going to... I'd like to... I'm still holding his hand because I never let go, because I'm still doing that shake the whole time that we're talking.
Okay.
And then what I'm going to do is... I'm going to turn him around to face her.
Okay.
And from behind, lean over and go, do you mind? And start taking the thing off. Just like I want to look at this. Do you mind? And just start taking it off.
Please don't do that. He's trying to stop you doing that. So I'll get you to make... athletics or acrobatics. I'll give it to you. We'll go with grapple check, so... 17. Yeah, I mean, you get it quicker than he does. You have it in your hand, you're kind of looking at it. It's one of the most beautiful things you've probably ever seen.
And as I take it, because I'm behind him and I still have his hand, like was going for his hand, I want to get him and spin him like a dance, but over to her. And then just, I have it.
Fine. I'll just give that to you because I can't even think
and
straight
then
right now.
To finish, I want to say, mustache and bow.
That doesn't count as a dash pun. That doesn't count as a dash pun. You can't have that. As you walk away, you hold up the amulet to the light, something that for some reason you just feel overly compelled to do. Look at your trophy. And within it, you see a small little heart. Doof, 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 doof. And on the third pulse, the final beat, doof, doof. You're no longer in the event. The talking isn't happening. The information has been gotten. And you're standing in the room as the walls come down. That was crazy, Richard. It's really good.
I was legitimately crying. That was fantastic.
That was outstanding. So I have one more person to jump to. Mr. Hatsu. It is your time. Oh, God, that was really funny. Hatsu, it's been a little while since you've been home. It's about a week. It's not something you're unused to. You've left home before. But every time you do, there's a little bit of you missing, because you truly feel like yourself when you're at home, where you can do your wanky walk anytime you want.
Wanky walker.
I wish we could have merch for this. I wish we could have merch. You're home when the walls go up. You're in your room and there's a small letter with beautiful calligraphy written upon it. It simply says, win the race. When the walls evaporate, turn to darkness, you're standing in your room, you see your letter, you pick it up, you put it down, the letter's gone. You kind of have the freedom to do whatever you want. You're back home. What do you want to do, Hatsu?
First of all, he checks if his swords are on their place.
Oh yeah. Wherever you need them to be, wherever they would be when you're home, they're there.
He's curious what he's doing at home. So he's carefully checking if everybody and everything is on its place.
Yeah. Everything is normal, but the house is empty, which in itself isn't super unusual, but there's no Boreal, no parents, no sister. It just looks like a day when nobody was home.
Never happened.
What would you like to do?
Hatsu was never home alone.
Steady
We're
on.
gonna have a party.
His test takes like 42 years. He just enjoys his life the entire time.
He's gonna visit the family shrine.
Okay.
That should be located in the main hall. And he's doing a prayer.
When you kneel down and you say your prayer, upon the last word, the moment that your prayer ends, a voice comes from behind you. You're late.
He's not surprised at all. He just answers with, I'm always in the right time and the right spot. You should know.
Aren't you going to the ceremony today, Hatsu? It's Aomi behind you.
Which time and year are we talking?
She looks at you with like, well, you probably Wouldn't even see. I'll say you see in the reflection of the shrine or something. She just looks at you with like, huh? Hatsu, it's the ceremony today. It's... You remember? We're in the town hall, the main hall?
Sorry, I was, I guess, lost in the realms of time themselves. Would you mind help me to refresh my here and now?
Okay. In 20 minutes, the ceremony starts. Sort of celebrating the founding day of Saganatoshi. Everybody's there. Both our families, the clans, all the people. Everybody's going to be there. You're not coming?
Why do you think I'm making a prayer at the family shrine?
All right. Sorry.
No, thank you. I was thinking about our grandfather a lot, and about his father, and about his father, and about his father, and about his father. And he smiles and he just stands up and follows her.
Okay. Ayami steps out into the street. Race?
And he just starts sprinting.
She's like, hey, wait a minute. For the first roll, I'm going to give you advantage. I'm going to give you athletics or acrobatics, and I want you also to describe it to me based on your roll, please.
Acrobatics it is. Advantage, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh! God damn it.
11?
11.
So what do you do?
So he is jump starting, obviously, but then he feels like he's losing his grip a little under the shoes. So he tries to compensate it with like a flick-flack kind of type of thing so he doesn't lose his momentum of the sprint start.
Gotcha. So as you're running, you sort of you get that kind of flick thing going, you get your bearings and you start moving. She's just a little bit faster. She sort of catches up. Maybe she expected you a little bit to just suddenly sprint. Do you always have to resort to these tricks to try and win, Hatsu? And she keeps moving past you. She's barely overtaking you. Acrobatics, athletics, tell me what you're doing.
Doing another acrobatics.
Is that a natty? Was it that 20?
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Let's go.
So he kind of wants to gain a little bit more momentum. So what he's going to do? There's like a little wall on the left side when they're running.
Yeah.
And he sees that there is like an older lady in her way. Mm-hmm. So what he's doing, he's jumping up, pushes his left leg against the wall, and while he's moving up with the right foot, he snaps like a little rock from the street towards her to distract her, and he just jumps ahead and dashes.
That doesn't count as a dash, but she jumps up and she grabs onto the ledge as well, and as she's about to pull herself up, you flick that little rock that's perfectly there on the ledge, and it just hits her between the eyes, and she gets stunned for a second. She's like, oh, and then she pulls herself up, and she's behind you as you two are sprinting. She got a 19 though, so it was damn close, but yeah, your 25 sort of trumps that, so you're natty. All right. What action are you taking now so I can determine a roll for you?
He is landing, and he does like when his feet touches the ground, his arms come down as well, and he does like a little roll, and he runs again.
I'm gonna give you a dexterity saving throw for your tuck and roll landing.
Hmm. Oh no.
Oh.
I use my inspiration.
Okay.
I'm gonna reroll that. Damn it!
Oh, wow. As you land, you tuck and roll, but you kind of lose your bearings. Something with your shoes today, man. You lose your bearings, but you don't fall completely on your ass. You just skid, and you sort of stop, and you're like, okay, and then you just keep moving. She isn't that much further ahead of you. She lands, tucks, rolls, and then just keeps running sort of alongside you. You guys are a little bit neck and neck now. After that, you're a little bit neck and neck. You're still kind of ahead because of the natty is just crazy. As you start to run through the street, there are people, very movie-esque for some reason, pulling carts out from both sides. What do you want to do?
He's kind of like one step away from the cart. He's gonna get on both feet, and he makes like a Superman jump over the cart, and then rolls and starts running it again.
Hell yeah. Okay, acrobatics. Yeah, please, yeah.
A dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Hell yeah. You, with ease, you go straight over. As you do your Superman jump, and you you make it across. She's not so skillful. She pulls up on the cart, pulls herself over, but there's a good distance between you guys now. It's about 10 feet between you. It would be hard fought if she caught up at this point, as you see the town hall in the distance. There are several paths in front of you. There's the main stretch, but it starts to get crowded by people. As you look to your left, you can see almost like a perfect staircase, buildings that go up, 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 but it would be a long jump across to get back in. On the right-hand side, it goes up, 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 way high, so it'll take longer for you to get there, but there's a zip line that comes straight down perfectly into the building. What are the odds of that? Which way would you like to take?
He's kind of looking over his shoulder and evaluating everything.
Okay.
But he feels like he's gonna take the stairways to heaven.
The left side, so like up, 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 and
yeah,
then the big drop. Okay.
And to disguise his further movement, he kind of, before he jumps up left, he's gonna kick the dust off the road, so that she might have a harder time to evaluate where he did run.
Okay, I'll give her disadvantage based on that. But you kick up the dirt and then you go, but she gains 5 feet when you kick up the dirt. You stop for a second to cause this mess. So that'll be the counter to it. But then you bolt up to the left. It's very easy. So it's dup, 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 dup. So it's not a high DC compared to hers, but I'm going to give her disadvantage as she goes to the right. She's going higher than you, so it's going to take her longer. But if she hits the zip line first, she may get it quicker. There's 2 rolls left in this. One of them I want now, so you can.
How far is the zip line away?
The zip line on the right hand side would be the other side of the street, so like 25 feet across. So which side did you go? You went to the stairway, right? So the left side. So she went.
I
to the
went
right
to the stairway.
Yeah.
But I would say, the moment that he jumps, he's gonna pull out shuriken as a bonus action, and he tries to nail the zip line.
Okay, it's gonna be a difficult shot, but we can do that. Okay, so you make your way up the steps. Let's make sure you get up there first and see what the timing's like. Not that you just like absolutely nail her in the face with a shuriken or something. So you go straight up the steps. So I just need it's just pure athletics or acrobatics, whatever you like. She has disadvantage on this.
Athletics.
Just crazy.
Dirty 20.
You're much faster than she is on these steps. You're like, dup, 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 dup. You're about to make your jump. You stop for a second, line up the shuriken, and then you start to leap off as you're about to make your throw. She is still making her way towards the zip line, and she catches a glimpse of you in the corner of her eye, and there's like this, you see it in her face. There's this look of shock. Like, he won't do this. He won't do this. He's doing this. Okay. So as you do, I'm going to get you to, do you have one in your inventory? You should, right?
Yeah, yep.
Go for it. Yeah, I mean, that's not, well, 25 feet, that's within your range, right? Yeah,
yep.
So 20 to 60 is disadvantage, I think. So, yeah, I'll get you to roll it one more time for me, if possible. You can do it straight from that one in the chat, I believe. 12.
It
sort of grazes it, but it isn't enough to cut it. not from this distance. So you do throw it, but you do make your descent. How are you going to land?
That's a good question. Okay, he's jumping with a flip, and he lands with his left knee down on the floor and his left fist on the floor, superhero pose, and he says out loud, "Some things will never change."
Give me your could be a dexterity saving throw. I'll give you athletics or acrobatics for this because it was pretty cool.
Oh, 10. No.
Well,
oh fuck.
Oh, Hatsu. As you go to make your jump, you do this cool flip and you land and you're like, some things never as the dust comes up into your face. So it like kind of hampers your moment a little bit. But she is 3 feet behind. So you do win by like 3 foot. I'm not even joking. I was measuring the rolls in the distance. Crazy to me. But she lands as well. She manages to get down the zip line, but she still wasn't quick enough. If she had actually gone straight, she might have been quick enough. That's really annoying. Yeah, she went down the zip line, so she literally wasn't quick enough. That's crazy. So you do manage to get there first, and she looks at you and she's like, wait, we're not at the door yet. This doesn't count. And then she takes off first. But I'll call it a win because you did make it entirely in first. But can you beat the real Ayami? Let's find out next time. In second rotation. You make your way in the door, and as you open the door to go in, instead of the room in front of you, it's just the square room that you were once in. The walls come down, and you are back at the college. Each of you greeted in a different way, as different people come over and say, like, hi, how'd you get on, that kind of thing, and you're all led off the sort of field back to the communal area where the students were. What do you guys want to do?
I'm gonna give Emedrian that fist bump from last week.
Well, remember, did you write that down? That's crazy.
He's been dreaming about it all week.
Yeah,
fist
just cool fist bump. So how did you get on?
Well, I'm here and I've got a big smile on my face, so I'm sure that tells you everything.
Likewise. Well done.
I assumed as much.
And I'm gonna look around, and do I see the rest of the party?
I have a question before I answer that. Slate, are you butt-ass naked right now?
Oh, I'm still exactly as I was.
Oh,
but
even better.
when the walls come down, I'm still as I went back to Curden for that. So when the walls go down, I don't go to the party. I just walk past them as him naked, but furiously stomping, holding some robes in my hand.
Okay, you walk away, looking like Curden Stewart with like the orc from last week, the week before. And as you walk past, the guys see that. You all take that in. You don't see Slate at all coming from where the general area would have thought he would be at, but you do see Curden walk past with the robes.
And as a matter of record, seeing as, you know, these people are varying ages and, you know, people are childish, I'm sure people would be pointing because obviously Curden must be cold, but he's confident. So, you know, he's just...
He's...
kind of some like mid-conversation with the Matriana. I wonder how the rest...
Like, for a big guy, it's surprisingly small, but it is what it is, you know?
What's weirder is that at the door, Curden's like, as he watches you walk past.
And as Hatsu sees that Dash is not taking any attention whatsoever, he sneaks up behind him and just says, "What a great illusion."
Hatsu! My god. How did you do?
Oh, first of all, I'm not a god. I will not give you any benefits or something.
Not yet. But you never know. You could be god of sneaky shit.
I don't believe in friendships with benefits.
Oh, well. On that we must disagree, I'm afraid. How did your trial go?
Which trial?
The one we were just in. Did you dash through it?
I thought it was like a simulation game or something. I had fun.
Good.
Can we address the fact that Slate seems to now look like Curtin?
Was that Slate?
Well, it was his box that he came out of. And
I thought.
she turns around and looks at Curtin, actually standing by the door, obviously puzzled himself, and is like, and he's there.
Well, I guess we now know what Slate is about. Interesting.
Slate will
Chameleon,
walking
obviously.
back in, eating something, comes back in, walks straight up to the guys, doesn't say anything, just walks up.
As Slate or as Curtin?
Oh yeah, as himself, as normal, yeah.
Still naked?
No, as normal, completely as normal as you know him from every other time.
Interesting ability, Slate.
What are you talking about?
Was that not?
Yeah. Did you not just walk out of your trial?
What is Slate eating?
Rations. He has dried rations. So I'm gonna eat some of them, and I'm gonna say, no, mine was over so fast. I went and got food. I've just come back. I was one of the first ones to finish. You were still in your boxes.
Hatsu leans a little bit over to Slate and he whispers over his shoulder into his ear, like, if you want to do this better, you have to hide your presence.
Gonna continue eating my ration.
Fair enough.
Very well. Has anyone seen Wes?
No. We all went in together. I figured we'd finish around the same time, but maybe he's taken a bit longer.
Perhaps. Eos, how was yours?
She just nods.
She nods.
Good. Well done. I want to have a look around as well and see if Lissa is about.
Oh, she's good. She's sitting up on a kind of a high-ish wall. She's just overlooking everything. Yeah.
So I just kind of try to catch her eye and just.
Sorry, for the podcast, she just sort of nodded back.
Oh yeah.
There was a long silence there, but yeah, of course.
Yeah. And do we take any note of Wes?
I'll leave that up to John.
I mean, he is bewildered. And I don't think he's moved from where he stood. Failed, I guess. Failed. That's what that means exactly. Better luck next time. The fuck does that mean? An older, slightly overweight man in the middle of his autumn years. Kind of looks like Wes. Like his uncle, maybe.
Like the markings
Dad.
would be kind of a giveaway, but that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, the markings are the same. Though they've extended. There's more. Deeper. The ink is paler. Skin is weathered. Long, scraggly beard.
Oddly enough,
Kinda
the skin kind of looks like it's been in the sun too. He's got that, like when you say weathered, it's kind of leathered as well. Like that kind of, you know, someone who's just been in the nature and in the sun a lot. Yeah.
Is Chicken there?
I was just going to ask exactly that.
Yeah, and looking the same, like no older, no different.
No, Chicken's fine.
Mm.
The Chicken's walking with him. Doesn't seem to mind him.
I'm gonna shoot a look towards Remington to see if there's any like worry, any adverse kind of look or feeling towards the way Wes looks now.
Right. Remington has walked back and is talking to a few of the teachers who have assembled, and also Ironclad is there, and so is Decker, and he's talking to all of them.
And is there anything from any of them about these trials or Wes in particular?
Make a, I want to say perception. You're making an active perception check here.
Because I want to see if I can tell what they're talking about.
Yeah. You don't have observant as a feat, do you?
I do.
Oh, you do? Okay.
So I can read the lips. With a shitty roll like that, probably not.
It's okay. You
That was
can't
a
quite
2
hear
for
them
the
because
audio.
there's a lot of people. Sorry, it was a 4. A 2. The roll was a 2, but the total was 4. You. How do I put this? Because the observant feat helps you a lot here. You pick up on some things, but you can't hear it. It's what you can lip read, so you're only catching half the conversation because anyone who's facing away from you, you're not getting.
Yeah.
What you hear is, or what you see, I guess, is Decker saying, "Yeah, that was quite a performance. I'm impressed with the first years this year. Is there anything that I need to do, or that you want me to do before I get out of here?" You just see the back of like Remington's head, and he's like sort of talking. He's clearly talking. His head's animated, but he's not, so you can't get the words. And Decker looks down and he's like, "Right, yeah, I can probably do that. There's a few designs we can go over, and we can see what's going on." And they're talking about something like that. Like it's just business talk. It's not. There's nothing about that. There's definitely nothing about Westland. They don't seem alarmed or startled or anything.
Okay.
Ace would like to go up to Wes. She's gonna tug on his shirt. Gonna grab his attention for a bit. And she's gonna give him the biggest hug he's ever had.
Still bewildered. He's now quite tall, much taller than he was. And lay an arm around her back. And just kind of nods at her. Just kind of taking all of this in, looking at the gathered people, listening to all the sound and the noise of the chatter. Now is the time we feast. Yes?
She just nods and heads away.
He walks past the group, looks at them. Now is the time we feast. And then goes to the room.
The banquet hall is packed today. Normally you guys kind of trickle in and trickle out as you're hungry. It's not something with a big event, but everybody's starving. Today was a long day. Everyone saw all the evaluations. So what are you boys eating?
I think for a Madriana, it would be something light today. She's hungry, but she's also she's still quite adrenaline fueled. Like, she's filled with that kind of anguish of, oh shit, what if he finds out? But also like, but how can he? I was so good. So a little bit of maybe, there's probably a tiny bit there of like false arrogance of like, hey, I did that. I mean, it's false because I think partly she would realize that, or at least she believes that if this was a real situation, it definitely wouldn't have been that easy.
Right.
But still having that sense of, but I did do what I did do, kind of thing. So I think it'd be something nice and simple for something quite light. So we're probably talking like a, like a nice fresh, like maybe like a ham salad or something like that with some croutons. Little bits of, some fine like feta cheeses or
nice
stuff, something like that. Something fresh, something light but hearty.
Yeah. What about the rest of you?
Once.
Dash would he'd probably sit for a moment and just kind of savor his victory, I suppose. And he'd go for something he wouldn't have had in quite a long time, but like
an
a pub
egg
grub,
sandwich.
like a egg sandwich, like pub grub, like a toasted special.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, toasted special with chips.
Boys. Maybe talking about food was a bad idea.
And he's going to switch up from his usual wine and have a nice tankard of ale.
Nice. Okay. All right. Yeah, it'll taste probably better than anything you've ever had in terms of that before. Palbaroth isn't the place to find like the grubbiest of grub, you know. It's usually fine dining and fine whining. So this tastes better than you've probably ever had it before. Not that Dash maybe wants to admit it. Yeah, it's good. Slate, I'll jump to you. You had an idea as well.
So, while they're starting to sit down, Slate uncharacteristically just barges in, sits down uncomfortably close to Dash, completely ignoring that he's there, bumping elbows with him, picks up the tray, doesn't shy away from it, and this big, almost like a trough full of, you know, this kind of perpetual stew that you hear about where they always kept it boiling and they kept adding new ingredients like that, but with the shittest quality ingredients, like this big goulash, gruel, grey, just thing, but a massive thing if it appears, and then just water, and then he starts to do like this with his head, and as he's doing it, he starts to look a bit like the Minotaur we've seen before, and he just slams his face into the bowl and just goes ham.
Hell yeah. I love that.
Thatcher just kind of look in shock and then just kind of leave him at it, but also just brush the flecks off his.
You brush, but more flecks appear immediately.
And he just turns, face full of food dripping off him. He's like, "What? I'm hungry."
I can see that. Enjoy. Cheers.
And then he just says, "Are you going to eat that?" and puts his hand into his and just starts eating his. And he's like, "Oh my God, this makes me so hungry when I do this." And just starts eating, grabbing everything, slop going everywhere, drips, everything, just making an absolute mess.
That's just going to move.
Makes sense.
Just a little bit further
Wes
down.
is watching this.
Chicken is also watching this and picking up the scraps that are like landing on the floor.
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic.
East.
When there is much, we sing songs in the circle and share. I have much to give. And he will conjure through this plate roasted meats and vegetables, roasted vegetables, foods that you would see at like one of those really stuffy old world harvest festivals, casseroles, and just the food keeps. He keeps generating food, beans and greens and parsnips, tarts, dried fruit, a tankard of ale, at least 10 liters of ale.
Yeah.
And he gestures to Slate. We share when the time is ripe, when we have gathered the fruits of our labor. Feast with me.
So Slade obviously has already put his hand into Dash's food. Dash has moved away. He's nearly finishing his. It's all dripping off him. He just turns and like a dog shakes it so it flicks all off, and then turns and just points at the mug and he's like this.
Yes.
And then he just picks one up and literally pours it into his face, and again all down his thing, just but like most of it into his mouth, and then does a massive burp and then just sits back like, oh, that was good.
Nice. With that, I want to know about Eos and Hatsu. Either of you can go first, up to you.
Eos will be sitting down, conjuring up something special for herself. A little bit of celebratory, even though she didn't pass the grade as she would have willed herself to do. But A large black wooden bowl appears. Inside of it is thinly cut noodles full of miso soup,
Nice.
2 soft-boiled eggs, a slice of seaweed, a bit of spinach, and sesame on top. A big bowl of traditional ramen.
Oh boys, this was a mistake.
So
It's
good.
like I should have eaten
I'm
before
hungry.
this. Yeah, this break is going to come a little bit quicker than we anticipated. I'm going to go some food.
Large
He's
pint
so
glass of
longer.
blackcurrant.
Nice, large pint glass of what? Sorry,
Blackcurrant.
blackcurrant. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Ditto, pal. Excellent. And Hatsu.
So while they entering the room and everybody's having a seat and da-da-da-da, Hatsu doesn't get like an arrested state of mind, so he stands back up and people would see him go like, and he walks like from one end of the table to the other, and then he all of a sudden he kneels down on his left knee, puts down his left fist, and he goes, some things will never change. And then he stands back up and nods. And he sits down and he creates 6 power balls. And he gets his bandana out, puts the 6 power balls in, makes like a little package and puts it back into his jacket.
Oh, damn. Hell yeah.
I thought he was making one of them, like, you know, gel socks that you beat people with.
Just soap in there and shit. Like,
Yeah.
Sorry for the hazing.
Like a sock full of coins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
You're
right.
talking about a sock in a dorm full of boys that somebody beat. No, you know what?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's full
Anyway.
of power balls.
Anywho, let's.
Yeah.
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 I think that's everybody, right?
Yeah.
You enjoy your meal, and it's hard earned, more so than any of the days you've been here so far. In the back of your minds, there's the knowledge that this won't even be in the top 50 hardest days that you have here, and going forward. But it's nice. It's nice to earn your food. It's nice to feel more. You had a week of downtime to rest, to relax, but now things really begin for you. And as the roller coaster ramps up, I'm gonna ramp myself into the kitchen and get some freaking food. We're gonna take a little bit of a break here. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. For those on YouTube, it'll be more like a Batman thing, and it'll just appear. It's great like that. But for those of you on Twitch, enjoy our bot, enjoy talking to it, making bets and getting compliments. And yes, of course, as our social manager has said, check our socials as well. Those on YouTube can see it down below. But for now, take a few minutes, get some tea. The ads will probably, hopefully, roll. And we will be back shortly. Thank you very much.
In a minute, guys.
Woo. Oh, damn it. There's no sound. Damn it. All right, we'll pretend we're back. We'll pretend we're back. Yeah, I complimented myself at the beginning on doing this right, and then there was no sound. Crazy. Crazy.
Oh my God.
Oh, no. So, Ducky's dead. Okay. Thank you so much. Welcome back. This is my fox cup. This is my chicken cup. This is perfect. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know, chat. Thank you. I apologize. You missed a minute of shenanigans. My fault. We are fed, we are watered, and we are ready to go. So I'm going to ask again. I apologize. What's everybody doing?
Eos is heading straight to the stables, checking on Ducky and fill him in on the day.
Perfect. Thank you so much. What is Eos doing? Because I've asked you like 3 times. Yeah, so you go to the stables with Ducky. You spend some time. Yeah. What is it that you want to do with Ducky while you're there?
Oh, so she's going to brush him. Going to go on a little ride around the forest with him and just kind of talk to him, as she normally does in Runic, to Ducky, fill him in on the day, what happened, what she expected, what she didn't expect to happen.
Cool. Yeah, you go through it with Ducky and you celebrate your win directly with Ducky. Ducky is a horse, and therefore is more interested in what's in front of it than what's behind it. But you get the feeling that it's listening and it's taking it in, and you get that feeling that you do when you talk to an animal anyway. That there's more of an emotional connection there, you know. Yeah, that's so you do that for the next hour or so.
That's all.
What about the rest of you?
I'd asked the rest of the group about their trials. What did you have to do? Was it dangerous? Was it exciting?
I had to kill 10 men and steal something.
10. Oh, my goodness, that's 10 more than I've ever killed myself. Well done.
Insight check. No, that's me. Sorry.
Well, obviously they were obviously some sort of construct based on the magics in play here, but yeah, I managed to get my way through pretty easily.
Oh, well done. I also had to commit a bit of a thievery myself. No murder along the way though. A situation I'm rather used to be honest. Lissa was there. I don't think it was the real Lissa. Obviously a construct. I had to get an amulet off a rich prick.
So someone might say you have Lissa on the brain.
No, she's just there because she's part of my usual environment. That's all. Nothing more. Nothing. Slate, how was your challenge?
Well, does he?
Very quick.
Is there more to that in that undertone? I have to ask.
You can make an insight check. Go ahead. That was so good. I didn't expect that at all.
Okay, so that's a 19.
19.
Can I contest it with a check of my own?
You can, but I would say make it privately so that nobody can see what the check is.
Yeah.
Feel free to answer that how you wish. Based on your rule.
Seems like he's telling the truth to you.
Okay.
So, yeah, Slate, how was your challenge? You did it very quick, you were telling us. And why do you look so different?
So, by now, having been sat with Weslin drinking and, previously saying it makes him really hungry to do that, he would be, as you would always know him, looking pale, sickly, himself as you would know him. And he would just turn and look at you and say, your trial sounds similar to mine because I also had to deal with a prick. There was some kind of amulet or something as well, and yeah.
Oh, interesting. And you succeeded. I take it quite quickly.
Yeah, I literally just took it off them, and that was it.
Oh, well done. It's nice when it works out like that.
It seems like it wasn't the only thing you took off.
Well, when the mood takes you.
Is that a necessity for you to do what you do?
Sometimes when I, let's just say I get heated, I get warm, I'm used to colder temperatures. My God, it was hot in there. It was stressful. It's easier. It's cooler.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I can relate to that. Those, if it's a similar situation to mine with people everywhere, then God, it gets warm.
I have to ask, if you're able to change yourself in this way, is this what we're seeing now, what you would consider your natural state?
I mean, yeah. It takes a lot of effort to do what I do.
Clearly from your appetite.
Yeah, it's no mean feat.
Well, I guess if we are to go out at some point, we must make sure and take plenty of rations. That's all I can say.
Yes, absolutely. How about both of you? Wesley, did you go? Did your trial last a long time, or how long were you there? Forgive me. I'm very confused about your sudden passage through puberty.
I then ask Wes in wild speak and say, what he's trying to say is, how the fuck have you got so much older?
Why does he have to use so many big words?
He thinks it makes him more elegant.
Elegant? Like a flower?
Yes, he puts on a pretty voice because he feels that people will listen more.
It's very confusing.
I know.
Let's turn to Hatsu and be like, do you know what they're saying?
If I hear that, I'm gonna start tapping on the table in Morse and kind of what's the word? Oh god. And you tell someone else's language.
Translate?
Translate, thank you. I couldn't think of the bloody word. I start translating basically what we're saying. Yeah, so how did you get so much older?
None of this is real. This is just a part of the dream.
Why do you believe you're in a dream?
Because I am. It will eventually end. Like they always do. And then it will start again.
Is there any way for us to help you to prove this isn't a dream?
Don't know.
I have an idea I might suggest. If this is indeed a dream, that means it's coming from your head, correct?
You know, I once believed that. But I don't think that that's true. The others can dream the same dream. Clearly you're here. You may or may not be real. That doesn't matter. When it is over, you'll be gone. There will be a new dream.
My suggestion was based on the fact that only you know what you know. So how about asking me a question that I couldn't possibly know? If I answer correctly, then it must be something you know, and therefore it must be a dream.
I don't understand the premise of this line.
So, let's say we were in my dream, and I could ask myself a question that only, and literally only, I could possibly know the answer to. Like, maybe an old friend's name, or a loved one that's missing. Something like that only you could know. If this was a dream, and it was your mind making up this dream, I would surely know the answer, because you're giving yourself the answer you already know. If I don't know the answer, then does that not prove that this isn't a dream?
Not necessarily. What day is it today?
I think what he's talking about is the circle. He might call a dream.
That is currently just like, that hangover meme where there's numbers flying in front of his face.
I'm trying to work it out. So yeah, I am currently speaking to Wes in Wild Speak as well, but I'm translating it for Dash. So I'm assuming Dash is telling you guys what's being said.
Yeah.
I actually don't know what the day is in our calendar. Let me have a look.
It's Green Leaf today.
Okay, so that's what I relay to Wes.
That's in our equivalent. That's Monday.
Okay.
In what month?
It is Harvestful. The 6th day of Harvestful, if we want to get specific.
It is a dream then. It is
Why
definitely
so?
a dream.
Why so?
Patterns aren't in line. Things aren't moving the way they're supposed to be. Failed again. But that's all right. How it is.
But you are okay.
Yes. Yeah. I'm fine. Had some rest.
I switched back to common. So, Wes has had quite a journey today, it seems. But doing good. Correct?
Yes, I am good.
I just tap Wes on the shoulder, just kind of hearty slap. Hold up my ale. Cheers to you, Wes.
These times we must share goods from the field.
Ale is good.
Ale is good. In the cold times, we must remember warm times.
Very wise of you.
I sometimes learn.
Knowledge is good.
Some knowledge is good.
Excellent. Hatsu, why don't you tell us about your trial? The rest of us have shared. What journey did you go through?
No, they said it was trials, but I just had a usual evening. Like it would have been in the past, you know. The usual shenanigans with the Fujiyawa clan. The busy street. Flying over buildings. Hiccup with the landing. And always be the first.
Sounds fun.
It is. It is.
Sounds like you need to work on your landings.
I think actually that's the only reason I'm here. My father hates my landings.
Hatsu! It's just in the back of his head.
You know, sometimes they tell me that the concept of coup. Have you heard about the concept of coup?
Where you take over someone else's position?
No. It's the concept of emptiness, simplicity, the hidden move that nobody expects, that nobody sees. But I like to have a great closer, if that makes sense. I feel you need something that is a signature to you. Like a style of dancing, if that makes sense. Because my father doesn't believe in that you can hide the simple and how could I say? Glamorous.
That sounds like very similar advice that a mentor of mine would have given me.
Might be right. And he's putting his left hand towards where his swords would be normally. Are they there?
Yeah, you have your stuff back, yeah.
Oh. He's kinda having his left thumb on Kazejoba, and he just opens it for a slight moment and points in the direction of Dash. And he would feel like a little breeze, just if somebody would like blow gently over your arms. And he sits back down.
During the I forgot to mention it this week, but I did last week. During the trials for each of you, you did get your gear back. It was in front of you with your letters. I meant to say it today. Forgotten, I apologize. But it is something that you do. So any gear that was missing in terms of weapons, whatever, that's all back now as well.
Just noticing the light breeze, I just kind of catch Hatsu's eye and just turn a quizzical look, but make no mention of it.
The night begins to wind down. People start to trickle away. Eos returns from her ventures with Ducky through the mud fields of the Crescent Pearl. And just foreshadowing, don't worry about it. And as you begin to wind down for the evening, is there anything anyone else wants to do today?
As we start to walk back to the room, and Majana's literally gonna just dip out from the rest of them, like wait until they get to like a doorway or something where it's not so obvious, and just dip.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go and find Delphine.
Okay.
Basically just kind of look around.
Delphine wouldn't be in the grounds, but if you return to the place, eventually you return to the place where you last saw her, she would be around there, yeah.
Well, I'd ask kind of where the best place to find her, and then as soon as someone says, "Oh, out by the forest," I'd be like, "Of course it is."
Yeah.
I'll head out, and I'll go and see her. Miss Delphine.
She raises her eyebrows, kind of as if she was almost asleep. Yeah?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you. I wonder if you might help me.
She looks at you with these like really wide eyes. Yes, of course. What can I do?
I have some concerns about a fellow student. One of my group that I've been placed in.
Okay. Yeah, what seems to be your concern?
So, Weslin, our small friend from previous evening that you met.
Has he done something wrong?
No, actually, quite in the reverse. I feel like he might have been wronged.
Oh. Oh, that's awful.
Well, he's a very complicated fellow. I've tried to get some information to see if there was anything I could do to help, but as it seems that you and he may have some form of kinship, I guess, for the natural order, I believe that maybe you'd be able to get through in a way that I couldn't.
What has brought you to this conclusion?
Well, to be quite frank, he believes he's in a dream. And it seems to be... Sorry?
Of course we are.
Excuse me?
I won't be doing that. That's I could
Sorry,
use my job for
excuse me. I was confused for a second.
Ah.
Did you say we are in a dream?
that. Of course. Right, I'm telling her. Yeah, we're in a dream.
Who are you talking to?
Not important.
I mean, it's quite important if I'm just a figment of someone's dream.
Well, why would you think you're a figment of someone's dream? Well, why not that you are also dreaming? Dreams can be a shared space, why can't they?
Because this life is not something I would have dreamt up for myself.
I think you're capable of a great many things.
I'm sure I probably am, but I also wouldn't have had the hardships I've had.
Ah, well, not all dreams are only dreams. Dreams cross in the good and the bad. I've had dreams where people died, and I've had dreams where people didn't. And I've had dreams where great successes were had, and I've had dreams where those didn't happen either. Dreams are dreams. They're open to interpretation, but they're open to differences too.
So if this is to be the case, how do we know if we're ever awake?
That's a good question. It's a good question.
I'm starting to feel like maybe I'm the one that's crazy and not Wes.
I mean, craziness is relative, right? I mean, one person's crazy is another person's brilliance. I don't think that Mr. Decker would have achieved all the things that he achieved if he wasn't a little bit crazy. I don't think that this world would be the way it is. I don't think that Stella Maleficent would have opened this school with such a vision if she wasn't just a little bit, woo, you know?
I think the difference between crazy and brilliance is money and power.
Yeah.
You're brilliant if you're crazy but do something good with it. You're just crazy if you don't have money and power and can't do anything with it.
I would change money and power to opportunity. I think that if you look at it as opportunity, it opens more doors for you. Money and power can get you so far, but money and power, again, are just relative. They don't mean anything unless they do. I don't care about money or power.
It doesn't take an opportunity leave you open the possibility of becoming something worse.
Well, as she leans up with her hoof and she starts just kind of scratching behind her ear while she's thinking about it. Sometimes there are things that we wish for that are better than money, better than power, and even better than opportunity. You just have to be in the right place at the right time. Sometimes you just have to listen. Yeah, I said it.
Okay, so Wes is okay then.
Seems fine to me. Seems to be more in touch with himself than all of you.
I'm not even going to try to insight to see if she believes this because it's very obvious she does. Okay, well, I guess thank you for your time. Oh, he did also say about potentially coming into the woods, so if there is something dangerous here, maybe just keep an eye on him.
You got it.
Thank you for... I don't know what, but thank you.
Of course. Anytime I can help. It's part of what I do here.
Yes, thank you. Good night.
Good night. Keep dreaming. Take care.
Major will start to walk off, absolutely fucking bewildered by that, and totally spun out, like in a way that just, like, if this is a dream, how much of it can I manipulate? How much of it can I change? So I think over like the space of her getting back to the school, she'll be like maybe picking up a handful of sand picking a leaf, something like that, and just trying to see. There's a real break of conscience for her at that second. Of like, holy shit! If this is a dream, then why have I dreamt this life for myself? Kind of thing. So she's almost trying to prove that that's all bullshit, and they're both mental, and she's not.
Your deep mental thought and reflection are immediately shattered by a sound that comes as you're walking past the mess hall, and you just kind of glance inside, and Chicken is just sitting there on the table eating some roast chicken and just like kind of going at it. Yeah.
If it's quite in there, bar Chicken, I'll just go and sit next to him and be like, do you care to share some of that?
Make a persuasion check. Make an animal handling check. Let's go.
Okay. This is not going to go well. No, like I said, it's not going to go well. It's a 3.
Yeah, you get a little bit of a, not a growl, but kind of a, like, clearly on the face, Chicken does not want you to touch this. And to be fair, I'm not sure you would. Chicken's a slobber eater.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time she's eaten badly, though. And she just leans into him a little bit more and is just like, are you Wes?
Just keeps eating the chicken. But there's a little,
got me so confused.
When you say Wes, there is like a tail wag, like of acknowledgement of that name, but just continues eating.
Yeah, I'm done for the day. And yeah, I'll head up back into the common room.
In the meantime, what are the rest of my pals doing?
Dash, when you get back to the common room, he's going to sit by the window, and he's going to take out his journal.
Right.
And just... Well, first of all, what would you see out the window in the common room?
There would be... yeah, a few little birds in the sky, kind of a dim light because the sun is setting, like it's kind of getting late, so it's that kind of, I don't want to call it migration because that's not what they do, but like they're heading back to their current homes.
Cool. Yeah, so Dash is going to just kind of sit there, like kind of slightly facing away from where anyone might see, and he's just writing in his journal.
You're just inviting Atsu. You're just inviting him. No problem.
I would say he's actively keeping an eye out as well, just for anyone else in the room, what they're doing. But he's, for a change, just kind of keeping himself to himself.
Yeah. What about the others? What are you guys doing?
So Eos is making a nice hot bath for herself. Once she gets into the bath, she's closing her eyes. She's trying to pick herself back at a trial each and every time, going through it step by step analytically, seeing ways she can improve herself. But the great thing about it is there's a great sense of relief. She feels more alive and awakened than ever before now. Now that she's able to do what she always believed she could do. There's a sense of excitement.
There's candles lighting. The room is dim otherwise. The curtains are closed. There's privacy. There's a smell of lavender wafting through the room. Lavender bubble bath. And Eos, like you said, feels more like herself than she ever has. It's a good thought. And it's nice to have good thoughts. It's, you know, you've spent your whole life making the good for yourself. Of course, your mother did too. And like those few people around you, the limited people around you that were a part of that would also have contributed to that, but this is different because you get to do that being yourself, surrounded by people who have nothing but love for who you are, and that's a very unique feeling. So you sink into your bath and you enjoy it, much like Ducky will sink into the mud one day, and it's a really nice. Can I get a Ducky counter? Is that a thing? It's a really nice evening. What are the rest of you doing?
Atsu is looking over to Dash, and he looks like as if he would be in a thought, And then he looks straight into his eyes and says, "You asked me for training, right?"
Just close the journal slightly. Just thumb in the book. Keep mark his spot. I feel it would be useful. I'm not as perceptive as I would like to be. So if there is anything you can do to help me with
Well, tell me, how could somebody be perceptive if he has his thoughts in his book?
Well, strangely, I feel secure here. So it's the best place that I can focus on this book.
What if I tell you that if you go that road, you will never have the time to separate your here and now from your surroundings?
I would say I'm very confused as to what you mean.
What does the thumb in your book do?
It keeps a mark of where I am until I either open the book again and continue what I'm doing with it, or mark it so I can put it away with a bookmark.
So have you done it? Have you read it? Have you wrote it?
I have not completed it yet. No, take just kind of opens it briefly.
I've not asked you if you completed it. I asked you if you did it.
I don't understand the difference.
So you know where you stopped, right?
Yes,
Are you sure that you know where you stopped?
very sure.
Why is your thumb in your book?
So I can open it again without flicking through to get to the same spot.
Exactly, that's why you need training. But you will receive your training not in your book. You will receive the training with me in the training room.
I look forward to it. Will the training in the training room be just as confusing?
Training will be now. The training has already started.
Thank you.
I think we should go
Now?
now.
Very well. I'll mark the book. Let me just put this away. I'll put it up into my room. I can lock the door and follow Hatsu.
Very well.
So Hatsu is walking towards the training room that he has entered once before. And he is making some posters. You will get an idea that he is doing posters that he would explain to you would kind of represent the elements. And he wants you to follow along. And then he asks Dash, why do you think that you don't hear me at all?
It could be one of many reasons, I suppose. One, you're very quiet, and you're very good at not being heard when you don't want to be. Second, if there's too much going on, I'm trying to focus on everything at once, something inevitably falls through the net.
Let's phrase it that way. There is a lot of stuff surrounding you, right?
Yes.
Do you hear the beat?
The beat?
The beat. Your beat, my beat, everyone's beat.
No, I do not.
If you listen closely into yourself, you will hear your breath
You will hear your heart. You will hear your blood pulsating in your veins. You will hear your beat.
Dash suddenly becomes very self-aware. And he's trying to listen and it's like, oh, okay, and his thoughts running through his head. Right, here, the beat. That's the heartbeat. That's the blood pumping. Why? Wait, can I feel my ears?
The second that Dash is in that kind of state to kind of feel himself, Hatsu would step with his right foot on Dash's left foot, get his wrist, and he would bend his hand like that and shove the whole look from down up. So his body posture would go up, but he can't go further because he's stepping on his foot, and he would be in kind of a locked position for a second. And Hatsu would look him in the eye and would say, "The beat. I just entered your zone."
Yes,
with your
you
beat.
did. Very much in my zone. This is a bit painful.
And he releases the wrist lock, and he says, "If you learn to listen to the beats, you become the beat, and the person you're approaching will not hear you at all." And he bows down. And he leaves.
Frozen for a moment, and then as Hatsu's leaving, just kind of bowed to him as well, and stand there, kind of in shock. Well, not so much in shock, just kind of in shock that made sense. What he said. Is there training dummies in this room?
Besides you? Yes, there are.
Yes. And I have my gear back, so Dash is actually going to take a few minutes and pull out his rapier, which he hasn't held in quite a while. Practice a few forms. Just a few light, basic, footwork, stabbing.
I'll say that Hatsu helps you a little bit with your posture. If you don't mind, of course, busy. That Hatsu helps a little bit with your posture and your posing and stuff, and by the end of it, it's quite an intense workout. Like, by the time you guys are returning to the room, people are well asleep. You spend quite a while down here training, preparing, again, getting this repetition, this rhythm, the importance of poses, the importance of the different maneuvers and strikes, and it starts to feel real good. You haven't felt like this since you last worked out like this, with this kind of tool, with this kind of, in this kind of way, using your rapier to channel energy in a different way, feeling more like Hatsu does, and it suits you.
And as we get back to the dorm, then just turn to Hatsu, be like, I appreciate that. Very much. What's the phrase? Arigato?
Domo arigato gozaimasu.
You just... That first bow that Hatsu gave him again, he's just going to do that before retiring to the bedroom.
Okay. Yeah. Does anyone else want to do anything in that time? Or are you guys just sort of wrapped for the evening?
Nope, I'm on my windowsill, little window seat kind of thing. Book in hand, just entranced for the night.
No worries.
Quick side note, I want EOS's whole vibe for my office here when I get it redone. Just all that right here, please.
Dash.
Oh no.
You open your door, and sitting on your bed Where the hell have you been?
Why do I bother? Why am I doing this fucking accent? Why do I bother locking the door when I know you're gonna just... I assume you came through the door?
Well, yes, I have your only key here. She throws it to you.
I've been training with Hatsu.
Oh, you've been training with your friend? I've been doing the fucking job. So they have a vault downstairs. Apparently it has a vast number of things here.
Wait, so this is a job?
It's always a fucking job.
You're shitting me. How much?
Well, you remember the stories of the legendary disappearing rogue who vanished with wealth unknown, apparently into nothing but a suitcase? Like 50 times that.
A.B. Cooper? I remember him.
No, different rogue. Although equally as impressive.
Yes, I recall the stories.
Well, all we have to get past is some mystical, magical spells, and poof, we find the vault, we get in, we're rich for life.
Mystical, magical spells. Magic vaults have never been my forte.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
But and we do have a lot of magical friends about. Do you think we can do it just the two of us?
Probably not. But we do need a scapegoat, and we do need to have somebody test the path for us. We don't want to get vaporized, do we?
No, absolutely not. What kind of... I assume you have people in mind. Obviously, I didn't think this was an actual job when I showed up and realized it was a school, so I haven't done any of the usual legwork. A bit of information would have been appreciated.
It's not my fault that you're always lagging behind.
Like I said, I've been training.
Yes, well... train a little harder, see what you can find out, and if you could do anything and pull your weight, that would be amazing. You don't want to be a street rat for the rest of your life, do you?
I'd really rather not. It gets boring.
You're one job away from retirement, from your mother having everything she needs to open a proper tailor establishment in the right side of this city we live in.
What kind of timeline are you thinking?
We have time. Nobody suspects anything. Realistically, we can take this entire semester, but it's difficult to find sources. Now, we have one other pressing matter.
Yes.
One of the wealthiest men in this entire Isles is leaving tomorrow. Are we going to do something about that, or just let our Mark get away?
Given the eyes that are constantly on him, I think that may be a step too far, particularly if there's another bigger prize to be got.
Yeah, but his bulky bodyguard is with him, and he is in the school. His ship, however, what, some passive guards?
You're always working, aren't you?
Working something.
I'm conflicted.
Yes,
The
me too.
knowledge-
Do you think Madriana would be interested?
I can't quite tell yet. And it's a difficult question to pose without arousing suspicion, because if they're not interested, then, you know, things just get a bit awkward.
Becomes leverage against you, yes.
Yes, exactly. So one would have to tiptoe very carefully around the subject. How did you get knowledge of what the boat speaks for itself? Although I'm not sure. He's an arrogant prick. Of course he carries all his shit with him. The vault, though, how did you even hear?
We all have our secrets, and a feather left somewhere unsaid will get you further than you realize.
He's leaving tomorrow.
He's leaving tomorrow, but that means he's taking that big, luxurious boat back. Who knows what tech is in there? Who knows what it could do? Maybe it could help your friends achieve whatever goals they hope to achieve. I don't know. You could be a hero amongst them.
Not one for being a hero. Should we go tonight? Well, obviously. He's going tomorrow. I don't really fancy a 6 a.m. rise.
Also, when it is time for his send-off, I'm sure there'll be a platoon of people wishing him a farewell voyage, bon voyage type thing.
I mean, it couldn't hurt to look.
Anyone you trust enough to bring with you?
No.
Then we wait till they fall asleep. I'm 2 floors up. Find me when you're ready. She goes to walk out of the room, and then she turns around and she's like, oh, right. She messes her hair and kind of like ruffles her clothes, and then she walks out of the room. Good night, everybody! And she closes the door and she walks out and leaves. A very keen message.
Yeah, good night. Dash just kind of stands there, and for a moment his imagination just kind of gets away from him. Then he just kind of shakes himself off. Well, better change out of this, and he'll put on his leather.
Cool. Most of the rest of you have gone to bed. The only one who would be ever vigilant and on guard, as far as I'm concerned, might be Westland.
Yeah, Westland doesn't sleep much, apparently.
Got some rest today.
He did. That was weird. He needs to learn how to do that better. He does go out to the woods, but he's had rest. His mind is a little clearer. Doesn't go in. He's going to. He's not going to this time. Just stare into it for a good hour or so. Then it sits at its edge, watching the water, listening to the sounds of night. Burying his hands in the sand, reaching for something. Not entirely sure what. He does know, he doesn't know much at this stage. He knows less than probably thought he did at this stage. Feels like he does. Is that time isn't moving the same way as he's used to it moving. That is a little confusing. It's happening very fast.
There is a mirror in this room. Would Westland have seen himself, and would he be aware of the change?
Oh yeah, he would have looked at himself at the stage. I mean, seeing his skin, seeing his hands, seeing the heavier markings, the deeper,
of course,
deeper cuts. Time is advancing faster for some reason. Skipped a summer. I've missed a summer somehow. Autumn. That's not right. And I'll just wait there with these thoughts in my head, resisting the urge to go into the woods. It's not wise. It's not time. It's not time. I'll wait there for dawn.
Absolutely. And the rest of you have gone to sleep at this point?
No, Hatsu would do his usual training exercises like his handstand, pull-ups, push-ups, and stretching. And he would meditate intensively about the concept of coup.
There's something specific that I'd like to request from Hatsu after my long rest of the trance 4 hours.
Sure, I'll get to that then. But if you just chime in when that comes up, because we're not there yet. So.
I'm just making it aware.
Thank you so much. Perfect. Slate, what is your evening like?
Much like the ones that have gone before, you know, feeling tired, drained. You know, it's visible on my body, my skin, like always. So it's the usual. Into the room again. The room as always looks entirely untouched because it is. Into the bathroom, onto the stone, sit in the cold breeze, think on the day. Probably spend some time, get cleaned up, maybe look in the mirror and sort of contemplate who he's been, where he's been, and what he's seen. And then for a rare moment, catching his reflection, he kind of forgets himself. And then for 5 or 10 minutes, like a child, he starts doing impersonations in front of the mirror, except he's actually becoming different people to do it. And then after he gets bored of that or realizes somebody might hear him, he stops and then just sits down on the stonework and then kind of calms himself, centers himself, grounds himself, and goes to rest. As always, window open, door unlocked, room untouched. And just before he goes, he would have a quick glance at the presumably now almost entirely rotten food that he has left for observation, that was starting to go stale, decay, all those things. So that's getting pretty bad.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Like mold at this point, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As the night winds in, I'm going to go to Eos first, because Dash is waiting for the sounds of silence, I believe. And if Westlin is sitting awake, 4 hours may pass.
Bro, Westlin's out of the woods.
Are you out by the woods or are you here, I think?
By the woods.
Oh, you're by the woods. Sorry. Okay, perfect. Okay.
Well, just I spend the night there.
I apologize. I missed that part. Sorry, I had you in my head. You were on the couch. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Just reconfigured all of that in my brain. Excellent. Okay. I'll go with Eos anyway because I just want to see what's going on there, and then I'll jump to Dash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So after Eos's rest, she gets up about half an hour before dawn. She puts on her grey-black clothing. Yeah. She heads over to Hatsu's door and she just taps on it. A little, very quiet knock.
Eos, you may enter if you like.
Perfect. Very playfully, very respectfully, she's bowing as she walks into her room, and in her arms laid out flat is her rapier. And she bows and beckons you. Mr. Hatsu Toshikatsu, may you and I spar in the shores at dawn. I wish
well, how hard do you want to spar?
Well, we still have to live for class, don't we?
If you point a blank rapier at me, are you ready to die?
Hesitantly, she. Yes.
Well, then we shall spar.
Perfect. She'd like to bring Hasu down to, like, the shoreline, where she would have seen, when going around with Ducky, a nice calm area where there's a very low, slow tide that they can spar at dawn. She effectively just wants to learn the ways of the rapier.
Dash. You go to sneak out of your room and you're like, oh. And then Westland like walks out. He goes down towards the forest. You're like, okay. You go to sneak out of your room and Eos moves across. You're like you close the door again and you just wait. And you like don't hear anything, so you open the door. Okay, it's clear. You're about to step out and then you hear Hatsu's room door open again. Eos comes out with the sword. You're like, you close the door, just trying to stay stealthy as possible here. And you're like waiting, and constantly there is things, and all you can hear in your head is how Lissa is definitely going to hold this against you. You hear, oddly enough, the front door close. You open the door again, and the room is finally empty.
I'll make my way out.
You hear an unusual sound of many people talking from Slate's room, but you just shrug it off and just keep going.
Quick question for the DM.
Yeah.
How aware are we in a trance state?
Your trance is technically over. It's 4 hours, pal. So if Eos had ended, yours would too.
Well, how much of any of that do I hear?
You hear Eos Hatsu. That's easy because your passive is crazy. But because I know Dash is trying to sneak, I'm gonna let you do a stealth check, Dash, if you're trying to sneak, and I'll use her passive as her awareness for this because she's not actively listening for you.
No.
But you are competing with her passive if you're trying to sneak. If you're not trying to sneak, that is also okay. You can intentionally fail this check if you like.
I didn't mention it, but Hatsu and Ace would have been speaking in Quick Talk, their local lingo.
Okay. Neat.
I
don't know if Hatsu knows.
So Dash's approach to this would be, if he's caught sneaking, that arouses suspicion. But he can be up early. So he's just getting up and going for a walk.
Then you hear it. Sure. Nice. Interesting approach. I like that.
She gets up and does her morning ritual as usual.
Dash, you're not super aware of it. But you go up, you get Lissa, you head down, and you walk out the front door towards the beach. Nothing wrong with that. Eos and Hatsu, you head down to the shores. So you're in front of Dash. Westland, you're by the woods, so you don't see this. Slate, you're in your room, so you don't see this. But Madriana, of course, you're on the first floor. You see when people leave the building. And you do see that Dash and Lissa are walking on the beach together, behind Eos and Hatsu by about 4 minutes, about 5-ish minutes, I'd say. Because Dash had to go get her. So.
Is there a quick way for me to climb down? Like not going through the main room.
There's definitely one quick way I can think of, yeah. Like straight down.
Safe way down.
Right, gotcha. I mean, it kind of depends how quick you are climbing and stuff like that, and your approach to how you do these things. But I would say the quickest way is probably through the main corridors then, if verticality is a threat to you. Then the hallways are fine.
To be fair, it's not the fall that gets you, it's the sudden stop.
Yeah.
Does she see them going towards the boat?
It's a little bit down the beach. You see, it's about half hour walk, so towards the boats. But they are heading in that direction. But so are Eos and Hatsu.
I'll watch for a second.
Pull out my sniper rifle.
Yeah. Wrong character.
Sorry.
see that I'm guessing they split off and diverge at some point. They're not actually together though, are they? It's just following pairs.
Following pairs, yeah. I don't think that Dash or Lissa would be aware yet that they're following Hatsurios.
Okay. Seeing then Dash and Lissa walk further down, she needs to know. She just needs to know. So she stands up on the balcony, her heels clipped onto the edge. Just her heels holding her on at this point. The flats of her toes over the edge of the balcony. And she just falls. Straight off. As she gets about 20 foot, 30 foot from the floor, when she knows she's in enough coverage, out from this pack on her back comes these giant 6 to 8 foot wide, beautiful crystalline golden white wings, as she uses them to buffer the wind below her, slowing her descent, and just comes to a gentle glide as she starts running and pulls the wings back in. As she's running along, she's still being as quiet as possible and to try and catch up with them a little bit, but she's also behind her back replacing the buckles and the connectors on her pack.
While you're running along and putting the pieces of your pack together, you are gaining. You have given yourself enough of an advantage to catch up to them, and they are unaware of it because Dash's passive perception is absolute dog. But in-game turns, he's not paying much attention because he cares more about who's beside him than who's behind him. And in front of all of this is Hatsu and Eos. So simultaneously across the entire scope of this, Westland faces the forest. Slate faces himself. Eos faces Hatsu. Dash and Lissa face what's before them. And Adriana follows them all. When we pick up this next week, we'll find out what all of that means on the Wandering Isles.
Cliffhangers.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Time flies when you're having fun, boys.
And so does Madriana, apparently.
Well, we can talk about that a little more in about 2 or 3 minutes when we continue.
Yeah.
Let's have a little break there for a second so we can set up, and then we'll do our Beyond the Isles segment for like 30 minutes. Then we'll give someone a nice little raidy raid. So if any of y'all know anyone in chat, you make sure you let us know. But in the meantime, we will take a quick, like 5 minutes. Is that okay for you guys?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Cool. We will be back in 5 once I remember where the button is. There it is. Thank you.